speaking out about her experiences with the Harris family. The girlfriend of King Harris, the son of T and Tiny, has become one of the most talked about issues on the internet this year. Is King Harris in greater jeopardy than we thought? And how profound does this work? Let's now delve into the complete account of King Harris, his girlfriend, the court case, and the circumstances leading up to this point. You must comprehend King Harris's identity and methods in order to comprehend the current situation. All of this evolved over time. On August 25, 2004, Clifford Joseph King Harris III was born. He belongs to the Harris family, which has made appearances on a number of reality TV programs, and is the son of rapper T and R&B singer Tamika Tiny Harris. This implies that cameras and microphones were aimed at King from the moment he was born. He was raised in a household where being famous was the norm rather than the exception. Harris, an American celebrity child, was born on August 25, 2004, in Atlanta, Georgia, USA. Clifford Joseph Harris Jr. and Tamika Diane Codell are the parents of King. His father, who is well known as Tip or T, is an American rapper, singer, songwriter, actor, record producer, and businessman. In addition, Harris's mother is a member of the R&B vocal quartet Escape and a skilled singer and songwriter. Your mother has been involved in the music industry since the 1990s with X-Cap, and your father is one of the most well-known figures in Southern hip-hop history. Many of his half-siblings, including Zanique Pouland, Messiah, Domani, and Deja, are involved in music and entertainment. He was raised in a huge blended family. This family is quite large. This is a family that is constantly in the spotlight. In 2020, Harris started performing under the stage name Kid Sion, experimenting with melodic hip-hop and trap music with his first releases, Bad Intentions. In 2021, he released the EPA Thin Line Between a King and Apla, which included songs like Young, Wild, Reckless, and Bust Down, marking his become a music artist after becoming a reality TV figure. King was therefore doing more than simply surviving off his parents' name. He was trying to carve out a niche for himself in music. Wild Rocker, his debut album, was released. In 2021, King has been more well known for mostly sharing content on social media, particularly Instagram, that highlights his singing and performing abilities. The Instagram presence is a crucial component, because many of King's issues were first made public on social media. He appeared as a guest on the 2021 edition of the competitive series Wash Wars and joined the improv comedy series Wild and Out. He appeared on Dish in 2023. Nation. As an individual, King was making television appearances. He was receiving reservations. He was headed in the direction that most children of celebrities would think is a good place to start. However, this is where things started to change. A video of Harris's verbal argument in an Atlanta Waffle House in September 2022 went viral. Later, the incident was publicly discussed by his parents, who acknowledged the difficulties of growing up in the spotlight while defending their son. For reasons unrelated to King Harris's music or his parents' heritage, many people outside of the reality TV audience began to pay attention to him for the first time after that Waffle House event. After the video went viral online, individuals began to form viewpoints. Harris has also gained notoriety for his vocal use of social media, where he has confronted detractors and publicly addressed remarks made about his family. This is a pattern that keeps happening. King was not the kind to linger silent. He was going to answer anyone who had something to say. That strategy attracted his notice. Additionally, it put him in circumstances beyond his parents' control. This is only the beginning though, because King's life's subsequent events turned social media drama into real-world repercussions. Additionally, his girlfriend's predicament, which has gone viral online, is a part of a much larger saga involving his parents, the courts, the police, and even other rappers. So let's continue. King Harris is unique in that his name did not suddenly appear in legal headlines. Accumulation occurred. It began modestly, grew larger, and eventually developed into a pattern that even he could recognize. Dad was unable to overlook it. The son of music industry icons T and Tiny, King Harris, has recently generated a lot of discussion on the internet. Harris announced his arrest on social media on Wednesday, August 31st. His mugshot was posted online, and then he turned to Instagram to share his perspective. That was in 2022. What was the reason for the arrest? When social media users learned that Harris had allegedly been arrested for the small driving infraction, he got even more criticism of failing to fasten a seatbelt, a failure to wear a seatbelt. Now, That is a ticket for the majority of people. You drive home after being stopped and given a citation. However, King being King elevated this to a greater level. The 18-year-old said, "I'm back. _12. Wild beast." In a selfie with his middle finger pointed after his arrest and mugshot photo went viral. He wrote, "Maine, a lil minor setback FAA, a major comeback," in a different Instagram story post. _him. Many questioned why the adolescent, who has a rather affluent lifestyle, would be running afoul of the law. The internet went into a frenzy because of that response. People were unable to comprehend the reasons behind the celebration of an arrest for a seatbelt infraction by a child who was born into riches, opportunity, and a family with resources and connections. Additionally, the public did not remain silent about it. "Born into wealth, but you want to be a goon," a user tweeted. "But this is the important part," his father said. "Why can't you just enjoy being rich in silence? He's going to prison if he gets and keeps this side up." "Ain't no way," stated T. He remarked, "I know that energy. I was that energy. Ain't nothing I'ma be able to do about it. I know exactly how it's going to turn out." T claims that he and his kid had already had that discussion. According to him, Harris is a decent child who chases after the wrong person. T wasn't having fun. The man himself was incarcerated in federal prison. He is fully aware of that route. It appears that he was telling the world live on Instagram that his own son was going in that direction when he was walking it. However, it didn't end there. A warrant for King's arrest was issued in Pickens County for his failure to appear in court, according to jail records. In August 2022, he was accused of speeding, driving while under the influence of narcotics, and knowingly operating a motor vehicle on a suspended license. Therefore, the seatbelt arrest was not the whole story. King was charged during that same time, speeding and suspension license, DUI, and he was failing to appear in court for those accusations. Let's fast forward until October 2024. As they were leaving a petrol station, King Harris pulled out in front of a Dunwoody police officer, almost colliding with the officer's cruiser. Earlier this week, the 19-year-old son of Atlanta rapper and actor T was taken into custody in Dunwoody. According to investigators, King Harris almost struck a Dunwoody police officer's car when he drove out in front of him as they were leaving a petrol station. Thus, King nearly struck a police vehicle as it was leaving a petrol station. That will attract attention on its own. However, things worsen after that. The incident report states that as the officer got closer to the vehicle, they detected the fragrance of marijuana derived from it. The officer saw that Harris had a revolver on his hip. As they conversed with him, he was then requested to place his hands on the steering wheel by the officer. Gun on the hip, marijuana odor. After that, the officer ran his information. The officer looked up King's details and discovered that the 19-year-old had a Pickens County warrant for failing to show up for court. King Harris was cooperative during his arrest. According to the officer, Mr. Harris was helpful, and he said, "I took the gun off his hip without any problems. After that, I made Mr. Harris exit the car and put handcuffs on him to keep him in custody. I led Mr. Harris to my patrol car, patted him down, and put him into the back of my car." King complied with the authorities. At least, one thing that helped him was that, after being taken into custody, T's kid had his mug shot taken at Dalb County Jail. King was in the car with 2 other people, and a search of the car allegedly turned up to little baggies of marijuana. According to reports, one of King's friends received a citation for possessing marijuana, but they were not taken into custody. This is what T had previously said about attempting to correct his son. He received all of the punishment and whoopings. Did everything you could do to him as a child. T claimed, "You will therefore need to experience it and overcome it. And there's nothing that I and neither mama nor anybody else will be able to comment on it." It's a strong statement from T.I. He was assuring the public that he had done everything within his power as a parent. King was responsible. Due to all of this is connected by the drama surrounding his fiancée and the conflict inside the Harris family. The up-and-coming rapper from America is currently seeing an unidentified woman who is expecting his child. The public was informed by tip that his kid King would be a father when he made an appearance on Hot 107, an Atlanta radio station. In August 2024, Nine will promote his new song, "Thank God." T announced his son's impending fatherhood on the radio, and his delivery was unforgettable. "I got a grandson on the way. King's about to have a son." He continued, "I told him, I'ma make this the greatest gangster of all time. I will nurture this child to torture you the way you tortured me. I assure you that this young person will face an indictment." Now, T was making a joke. Although he was laughing when he said it, there was a serious message hidden beneath the humor. His son had placed him through it. and he was acknowledging how crazy the ride had been while still making light of the issue. A few weeks later, in November, King and his child's mother, Big Nana, welcomed a son into the world. Additionally, he released a song called Dear Son, which was devoted to his time to take over. King stated in an Instagram post promoting the song and his beginning as a father after welcoming a baby boy. Na 5,809 King became a parent as a result. Harris, King Jr. came into the world. For a brief period, it appeared as though this might be a pivotal moment. The drama with the women in his life was just beginning. Even though a young man with a child was ready to settle down and take things seriously, the internet has been following every facet of King's romantic life. But Big Na, the mother of his child, has mostly avoided the spotlight. Many people have been interested in King's romantic life as a celebrity child. Thus, who is the girlfriend of King Harris, due of King's numerous connections? The answer to that question has been posed frequently on social media, blogs, and YouTube channels, but it hasn't always been obvious. Currently, the girlfriend's predicament is heading to speaking up about King and T in court is a part of a larger trend. The Harris family has been the target of numerous legal challenges and claims. Peterson claimed in her tweets that the Harrises were mocking survivors and that the feds already have this. She also released purported text messages between King Harris and a young woman who was allegedly trafficked, saying, "I think the fans need it." According to Peterson, the girl's relatives got in touch with her solicitors because they were worried that their child was a part of the Harris family's network. These are accusations. They haven't been established in court. However, you can see how complicated this scenario had gotten by the fact that King's name was being mentioned alongside his parents in these kinds of claims. Peterson launched a slander lawsuit against. The court ordered her to pay around $97,000 in legal fees after the couple was essentially dismissed in March. Thus, Peterson did not win that specific lawsuit. She was mandated by the court to cover the Harris family's legal costs. However, the harm in the public court opinion had already been completed. Allegations against King Harris, a young man barely in his 20s, went beyond traffic infractions and missing court appearances. No matter how well known or not, his name was being brought up in discussions that no parent would want for their child. They are affluent. The altercation at the Falcons game followed. King Harris has had an incredible year. The 20-year-old has been in the news more often since last year, due to significant events like the explosive, and he got into a physical argument with his parents, Tiny Harris and T, during a Falcons game. The altercation took place in public and was captured on camera. People were startled when that video went viral. In November of 2023, Harris participated in a widely reported altercation with his father, T, at a family gathering that was streamed live. The conflict started when Harris appeared on Instagram Live during an Atlanta Falcons football game, disputing with both of his parents over his upbringing. He asserted that he had been T and Tiny. Harris disputed in real time that he was raised mostly by his grandmother rather than in luxury. King claimed that his parents did not raise him according to popular belief. He claimed to have grown up with his grandmother rather than in the care of affluence, and his parents were actively challenging that narrative. In interviews, T later downplayed the incident as a routine family issue, emphasizing that arguments between parents and kids are common. T referred to it as a family issue, but the internet perceived it differently. There was proof that the Harris family was divided, and when you add it to the girlfriend's outcry, the legal troubles, the arrests, and the accusations, you get a picture of a young man going downhill while everyone looks on. This pattern applies to the girlfriend scenario that corresponds with the video's title. A story that already has too many layers is further complicated when a close friend or relative of King chooses to publicly discuss their experiences, whether in court or on social media. Layers. King's inner circle members are not keeping quiet, and what they are saying presents a negative image of both King and the Harris family. If you believed that King Harris would slow down and avoid the spotlight following, you were mistaken about the family drama and the arrests, because in February 2026, King Harris threw himself into one of the biggest rap feuds of the year, 50 Cent versus his father, T. The conflict between 50 and T began with a planned versus combat between the two. Tip claims that 50 withdrew from the Gunnet rapper and TV mogul, whom T was happy to have. This tension was nothing new. For years, T and 50 Cent had been arguing over this unsuccessful war with Verzu. However, it reached an unanticipated level in February 2026. Days after the two started making fun of one another on Instagram. T has not eased up on his Queen counterpart while promoting his Kill the King album and debuting his new song, Eased Him No. The Atlanta rapper doubled down with another clip that debuted on Atlanta's Hot 107 after releasing the first one to his diss single War on Sunday, February 22nd. 9 on February 23rd, Monday. After 50, the two rappers' back and forth became more heated, posted a picture of T's wife, Tiny Harris. That's what ignited the fire. 50 Cent shared an unflattering picture of Tiny, and that was all it took for the Harris family as a whole to enter the war. A new feud between 50 Cent and Tip's son, King Harris, has arisen as a result of 50 Cent and T's social back and forth. After the mogul posted a contentious picture of T's wife, Tiny Harris, King trolled 50 by bringing up the mogul's late mother, Sabrina Jackson. King was burnt rather than merely responding. King would respond to Tiny Harris' post under 50. Prepared for conflict and chaos, King remarks, "Where your mama eyes emoji." It became worse after that. Prior to the release of a series, he would create an Instagram story about 50 Cent that starts with a picture of 50's late mother, Sabrina Jackson, and the beef with a gravestone bearing Jackson's name and lifetime. King Harris put up a gravestone bearing the name of 50 Cent's deceased mother. That is more than simply a slight that goes beyond what most hip-hop fans would consider unacceptable. The youngest son of the Atlanta rapper, King Harris, defended his mother on Instagram by highlighting 50's past conflicts, the fallout from his 2000 shooting, and other allegations of domestic abuse. Among other things, King covered every aspect of 50 Cent's life, including the shooting, the allegations of domestic abuse, and more. He displayed everything. King made several jabs at 50 yesterday, February 24th, in A Fresh Made Man Is a Song. He even released a full song that was directed at 50 Cent, and his brother Damani joined in. When the Harris family T and kids Damani and King produced a slew of videos in February, the highly publicized back and forth between the two rappers took over 50-year-old diss tracks. Damani released a song called Ms. Jackson, which is a kind of open letter to 50's mother and samples the famous Outkast song of the same name. A burning house in the cover art alludes to the death of a mother in the 1950s, in a fire. After that, King released a song and a music video that had him sporting a t-shirt alongside a mother from the 1950s, something that attracted Rick Ross, another 50s operator, as a significant co-star. Even T agreed it was too much at that point because of that t-shirt. When questioned about when he pointed directly at the footage of King wearing a shirt with the name of his deceased mother from the 1950s on it because he thought the beef had gone too far, the rapper from Atlanta responded, "That's enough when I seen that t-shirt." To my statement, T continued by elaborating on his feelings on King. Diving right into this beef, T claimed he didn't enjoy it at all. "No," T answered, "I don't like it, especially after King made the decision to attack the Gunnet mogul with scorched soil. I invested a lot of time attempting to rescue Leela from the precipice. He now has legitimate ways to reverse everything I've been teaching."